Nikkei Asia News Roundup
with Jada and Brian. Welcome to the Nikkei Asia News Roundup with your hosts, Jada and Brian.
bringing you the latest updates and insights on the dynamic world of Asia and more.
Now let's delve into the headlines. This program is brought to you by Nikkei.
Cash is rapidly disappearing in consumer transactions across Asia. Physical money is forecast to make up just 14% of total transactions by 2027, down from around 47% in 2019, according to WorldPay, a U.S.-based payment processing company.
India is beginning to harness the untapped potential of seaweed, finding applications in food processing, cosmetics, and fertilizer, as many of its rocky beaches, mudflats, coral reefs, and lagoons provide ideal habitats for the marine algae.
Toto, Japan's top toilet maker, is expanding its decades-old business of making parts for semiconductor manufacturing equipment, capitalizing on the broader use of ceramics in the production of cutting-edge chips.
Malaysia's new requirement for companies hiring foreign workers to also hire local student interns has sparked concerns over the potential burden on companies, including multinationals.
Chinese chip and chip equipment makers blacklisted by the U.S. are turning to universities and state-backed chip labs and so-called pilot production lines to keep their development efforts on track.
Singapore-based ride-hailing app Tada is making inroads in Asia, as a no-commission model that lets drivers keep more of the money they earn proves popular with passengers as well. Now moving on to the next segment.
Hong Kong's $13 billion Skytopia Airport project poses business loyalty test. A $13 billion project to turn Hong Kong's airport into a sprawling city within a city could serve as a test case for how much the local business community is willing to spend to show its loyalty to the Chinese government. Last year, Hong Kong Chief Executive John Lee announced an increase in the size of the development. An artificial island near the airport, renamed Skytopia, will house an art gallery, a marina for 500 yachts, and a water sports area. Skytopia will be completed in stages between 2025 and 2031, according to the airport authority. A total of 100 billion Hong Kong dollars, or 12.8 billion US dollars, is expected to be invested, with the authority initially spending 30 billion Hong Kong dollars on transportation infrastructure. The remaining 70 billion Hong Kong dollars is to be covered by the private sector to build the art center, hotels, and other facilities. Businesses will likely face pressure to participate. The airport city is anticipated to contribute to the Greater Bay Area, a zone spanning Hong Kong, Macau, and part of Guangdong province that Chinese President Xi Jinping's government is keen to develop. In a November meeting in Shenzhen, Beijing's top official overseeing Hong Kong and Macau affairs said Hong Kong business people should, quote, illustrate their love for their country and Hong Kong with concrete actions.
Myanmar EV registrations triple, but brands face parallel import risks. Electric vehicle registrations are rising rapidly in Myanmar, due partly to parallel imports brought in by unauthorized dealers, but a lack of repair and maintenance support could put the reputation of major brands at risk. The country's growing EV market is apparent in the commercial capital of Yangon. In addition to Chinese-made EVs, one can see Toyota Motors' BZ4X, even though the Japanese automaker does not import the model. Myanmar had 6,166 passenger EVs registered as of December, more than triple the number a year earlier. The military regime has promoted EV imports by waiving tariffs in a bid to reduce fuel consumption. Around 80 local companies have imported more than 50 models of EVs over the past 2 years, according to a state-run newspaper, which notes that brands like Toyota, BYD, and SAIC Motor-owned MG are especially popular. This has raised concerns that inadequate repair and maintenance services could damage these brands.
And now for news highlights. In each episode, Jada and I have a discussion about a recent article that has particularly captured our attention.
And today we're going to talk about how pickleball is gaining popularity in Southeast Asia, which is where badminton has long been the region's signature sport. Have you ever played pickleball?
Yeah, I was going to start with that. What exactly is pickleball?
Yeah.
I realized when I saw this article, I've known of pickleball. Just sort of on the side of things that have gone on in life over the years, but I've never played it. I don't actually know the rules. But apparently that seems to be one of the things that makes it popular or growing in popularity is that it's easy to take up.
Yeah.
And it's basically, it's not tennis.
No.
You know, it's not table tennis. No. It's like something in between.
Yeah.
It's a slower sport, though the ball's not as intensely hit. It's a smaller court. And it can require athleticism, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be incredibly athletic to take it up.
Yeah, so it's more accessible and you said easy learning curve.
Which means a lot of people are taking it up.
Yeah.
And that's a bit of concern for people who are really into badminton in Southeast Asia.
Which is, a lot of players or a lot of teams from Southeast Asia have kind of been really, sports athlete celebrities for their achievements in badminton, right?
Yeah, badminton is big in Indonesia and other parts, and particularly Malaysia. This is an interesting statistic. Badminton has been an Olympic sport since 1992. Malaysia has won 15 medals in the Olympics ever. 11 of them were for badminton.
Oh.
That's how big it is in Malaysia.
Yeah. I think so. Indonesia, Vietnam, those countries are also pretty good at badminton.
Yeah, and as you said, people who are successful in badminton in those countries are celebrities. And there's a concern a little bit that badminton has become a little too professional, if that's the way to put it. It's more, it has a bit of a learning curve.
Yeah,
it can cause
higher
injury
hurdles.
if you play it too intensely. And that's one of the reasons people are citing for pickleball's popularity.
Yeah, and also there's kind of been a setback in recent tournaments, right, at the Paris Games last year?
Oh, that too, as I said about the Olympics. The Paris Olympics was only the second time since badminton became an Olympic sport that no gold medals went to any player from Southeast Asia.
Yeah, no Southeast Asian badminton athlete won gold.
Yeah. And so there's a concern among badminton associations that the popularity is starting to wane. And they're not necessarily blaming pickleball, but they're looking to pickleball as what's the magic secret here to helping us not wane in our popularity. And let's remind people, badminton is still very popular in Southeast Asia.
Very popular.
In Singapore, they estimate that for every pickleball player, there's 100 badminton players. So they're doing okay.
Yeah.
So that is sort of the negative aspect we can have on this story. But the positive one is that the rise of pickleball is just good for getting people out and exercising and bringing people together. And a lot of people...
Because it kind of caught on during COVID,
yes,
right? Yeah.
Yes, in the United States. Oh, by the way, pickleball was invented in the United States, just outside Seattle. And it took a while to catch on. But yes, the pandemic is one of the reasons that pickleball caught on, because it's easy to set up. And people of different abilities can get started on it. Yeah.
The article mentions, aging population might be one reason. So, older people can easily play pickleball rather than badminton or table tennis maybe. Another thing it points out is that pickleball may have kind of gained steam due to social media, like TikTok and all that. People seeing that on social media and kind of seeing, how interesting or easy it might be to play. So they're taking that up. And some people from the badminton community are saying, we have to utilize social media more.
That's how I first learned about pickleball, which I've never played it, but I saw on social media some Formula One drivers were playing pickleball in the off season to stay in shape. And I was like, well, what is this? So it worked for me.
And that brings us to the close of today's episode.
We look forward to having you join up again for the next edition of the Nikkei Asia News Roundup.
Stay informed, stay curious. Until next time, I'm Jada.
And I'm Brian. See you again, and take care. This program is brought to you by Nikkei.